Hey, movers and shakers, welcome to another installment of the Seven Figure Moving Academy. Today, we're going to be discussing all about the different various aspects of starting a moving company in Chicago, Illinois. Now, I understand this is about starting in Chicago, Illinois, but it's applicable wherever you go. We're going to be talking about credit. We're going to be talking about how to buy a truck. We're going to be talking about various aspects of starting and running a business in Chicago, Illinois, but this applies to you as well. And I hope you guys get a lot out of it. It is about an hour long, so if hopefully you'll sit through the entire thing because there is so much good information in it that it's just going to blow your mind. All right, guys, let's get into the video.
I have to have like a tariff and stuff, which I don't. Okay. And I'm not sure exactly what else, in terms of paperwork or documentation. So just to be in with the DOT and the FMSC and all the regulation or things that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're in a state in Chicago that is very, very regulated. So if you're going to be licensed and insured, you definitely have to have all of this in.
Yes, and I'm interstate.
Great. So are you planning to go and cross the state lines?
Yes.
Okay. So then you're also going to need an MC number.
Yes.
The good thing is once you've got all this.
The thing is, I do have an MC number. I do have a dot, and I have all of that.
Right. But you might have an MC number, but it can't be valid if you're not licensed and insured.
Yes, I am licensed and insured.
So if you're licensed and insured, what's the problem with you should already have a tariff and everything?
That's the thing about it. I don't have a tariff. So once you're licensed and insured, like cargo insurance and operation, does it come with a tariff?
No, you gotta provide your own. You gotta create and provide your own tariff. Now some moving associations, like the Michigan Movers Association, if you sign up for their organization, they actually put you on a tariff. So you actually get put on a tariff. They'll do all the paper. So you'll have a tariff already done that you can use and to facilitate. Now I don't know if that's the same with for Illinois, right?
Because I did reach out to them, but somehow it's talking about just intrastate, pretty much.
Okay, so just in state they have a tariff.
Yeah, it was intrastate pretty much.
Okay, and that's true for most of the Movers Association. However, you can actually use that same tariff for your out of state moves as well, which is what I did. I just provided that tariff to the MC, and the MC accepted it, and I had no problem with it. So if you're part of the Movers Association in Illinois and they put you on a tariff, then there you go. You're already good and go. You're good to go. Now, one thing that you could do if you're so inclined is there's a lot of these van lines, which I call van liners, that have websites, and on their website you can find their tariff, right? Which is a good, because they always go across the country. And what you can do is then basically model / steal their tariff, and then alter it to fit your company, right? So the prices that they put, the insurance information that they put, you can model that. You can model that tariff so that it fits your organization, because you're not going to necessarily have the same insurance as they are. You're not necessarily going to charge the same way they are. So you cannot just use their thing and then plug in your prices and your information into their tariff.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Have you become a member of the Seven Figure Moving Academy yet?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, if you were to do that in the file section of the group, there is a couple of tariffs that you can use One was one of my tariffs, and then a couple other guys have put their tariffs in that you could download and then alter it or rewrite it to fit your organization for your based on your prices and your insurance and everything like that.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay. So, okay, I'll just probably just do that and just, and do I get other information in there too? Because I was thinking that probably, you know, there are other stuff that affiliate with that I could use information.
Yeah. There's literally tens of thousands of dollars worth of forms and documents inside the group that's completely free to group members that you can download and model. We're not asking you to take it and do it verbatim. But
No. I couldn't because each is different. I understand that.
But you can use it, download it, rewrite it to fit your thing. We've got documents like bill of ladings. We've got terms and conditions, all sorts of things that will be very beneficial. You know, cube sheets, the whole works is down in the group that you can use.
And how much is the for the fee for the it's a monthly thing, right?
$49 a month. Yes.
$49 a month.
Yeah. And then the networking that you get is incomparable. It's undefinable in the amount of money that it can make you. I mean, I've got guys who came in here not knowing anything and then have talked to guys, asked questions and so on. And now, a year later, they're doing, large 6-figure to 7 figures in the moving business.
Because to be honest, to be factual, I am 0-0, to be honest. My husband and I, we just got into it blindly and we're just trying to find our way. And I'm like, going through YouTube, I bumped into you and I'm like, okay, maybe I could, get information from you. Because I did reach out to a lawyer, and he was like, it was like $3,000 for the contracts and the bill of lading and the tariff. And
that's actually cheap. That's cheap. If he's charging you only $3,000, that's pretty cheap. But the good thing is if he's going to provide all that stuff for you, then, I mean, you're going to be pretty much bulletproof.
Hey, movers and shakers, how you guys doing? I don't know if you know this or not, but did you know that you could actually join my 7-figure moving YouTube group or membership? Yes, if you go to my YouTube page, right here is a join button. By clicking that, you could actually sign up for the membership on YouTube. And there's various perks at various different levels. There's 3 different levels. The first level is just a few bucks. The second level, a little bit more. And the third, well, that's when you really get the membership bonuses and perks that we have available to you. But if you didn't know that, you can actually do that. And there's a lot of people that says, Jay, how can I support you? How can I help you? I get a lot of these comments. Well, if you guys go to the join button and click it, you can actually join my membership and you could be helping me and contributing to the 7-Figure Moving Academy YouTube. So all you have to do, go to 7-Figure Hustler, look for 7-Figure Hustler on YouTube, go down to that page, click the join button, click one of the membership levels, and I'll be seeing you in the group.
A lot of the information that I've gotten, I had to find out the hard way, you know what I mean? So, and it's come in handy. Like in my terms and conditions, just hypothetically, something I learned because I lost a lot of money is that, if someone doesn't pay me, I've got a clause in that if I have to take this to the next level, then they owe me 3 times the amount of the said bill plus attorney fees. And, and I've successfully held that up in my contracts and gotten money. I had a guy who wouldn't pay me like $1,200 and he ended up paying me $5,000 that I took him to small claims court and I won. So, we ended up settling that down to $3,000, but I won that thing of $5,000. So, and basically he went away after that. He tried to do things. So, the things that I've learned the hard way through, losing money. So, so if you want to and get a lawyer for $3,000, if you have the $3,000 to do it, I would say jump on that. That's actually a very good price.
Okay.
Because most attorneys are going to charge you $5,000 to $10,000. So, I mean, if I had that money to do it, well, I do now, but if I were back then, if I had the money, I would have paid the $3,000 and just had it all done, had it electronically submitted to the state and the federal government, and then wash my hands.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And just be done with it, because it's just so much quicker. And the attorneys should have it done with all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. So.
Okay. Got you. So question. So how do I, like going forward, how can I navigate myself knowing that, okay, I'm pretty new in the business, and, what step can I take, to, for growth, pretty much. Because for now, I'm like suffering somewhat because I'm renting.
Okay.
Currently.
Yeah. I've rented too. I would really start slow. I really wouldn't try to get too much into the full service moving just yet.
We're not. We're just picking up from warehouses, like, for now. That's pretty much where we're at.
Okay. I would also get into doing some labor only type jobs. I would hook up with U-Haul, the moving helper app, Hire Helper app, Elite Movers app, and just start seeing if you can't get some jobs for just loading and unloading trucks from people who are looking for their houses just to be loaded and unloaded. Because that'll give you some good experience and as to how long it's going to take to load a truck, how long it's going to take to unload a truck. Plus, you'll start learning how much stuff you can fit into a truck. So the more trucks that you load, you'll realize that you go into one of these high rises in Chicago and you go, okay, good. I know that this apartment will take me 4 to 6 hours to load into a truck. Plus, I got the elevator time and all that, blah, blah, blah. So you'll be able to go into a place and just be able, after a good 6-7 months of doing this, you should have a good idea of like, okay, it's going to take me a crew of 3-5 hours to do said job, right? And then you'll start learning your job. And then once you start entering in, okay, let's start figuring out the weight of the job. You can then start using cube sheets when you go to do estimates, and you can start doing cube sheets and figuring out, okay, here's the weight, here's the estimated weight of the jobs, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Does this make sense?
Yes.
So I would really suggest that since you're starting brand new, I would really suggest you start doing that. And then, sprinkle in some, full service jobs. But don't concentrate on them. If they come along, go ahead and do them. But I would just really get that experience so that you get the experience of knowing how long it's going to take to load a truck and unload a truck. How much you can fit in different sizes of trucks. And then when you got that experience, start adding in then how much it actually weighs. Because when you start doing full service jobs, especially when you're doing long distance ones, you want to really you want to charge based on weight and mileage, right? Okay. Legally, that's what you're supposed to do anyway. But you want to start charging by weight and mileage. So if you don't know, if you can't estimate the weight or know how to estimate weight, you're really going to be flying by the seat of your pants. And quite honestly, you're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table. When I first started, and I actually made a video of how I did it. When I first started, I would charge like $1,500 a day. That's where I would start my price. That's how much money I needed to make every single day doing a long distance job. So if the job is going to be 4 days there and back, I know I needed to charge at least $6,000. right?
Oh, okay.
And that's how I would charge. And then I started figuring out, okay, well, what is the actual weight of these jobs? Started figuring out. So I started using a cube sheet, and I learned how to use a cube sheet. And I was realizing that same job that I would have charged $6,000 for, I should have been charging like 10 to 12, right?
Oh, okay.
So I was leaving literally, half, 50% of the money on the table.
On the table.
And when you start learning these different things like that, then you'll be able to scale quicker and make more money, right?
Okay, so basically that's the foundation of.
Right. You really want to get that foundation in. So it starts with knowing how long it takes to load a truck and unload a truck, and then how much you can get into the truck correctly, right? And especially when you start unloading trucks, you're going to see examples of really bad jobs and examples of really well done jobs. And of course, you want to start modeling your service based on the very well done jobs. Because when you do get into doing the full service, you want to be able to charge the big bucks, right? You want to charge the high dollar, because that's where the money's going to be. You might be doing less jobs, but here's the thing: doing less jobs at more money is a lot easier on you and your crew than doing a whole bunch of jobs for cheap, right?
Yes.
There's no strategic advantage at all for doing cheap jobs. Just none. Being the lowest competitor out there, there is no strategic advantage. You can't scale and you can't make money, right? For you to make money, you would have to do 10, 11 jobs a day, where I can do one job a day and make as much money or more.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's being the cheapest there's no advantage in it, right? Unless you're the cheapest, guaranteed you're the cheapest, there's really no advantage in it. And then even then, you're still going to have to do 10 or 20 times more work than I would have to do at the high end. So that's your goal. Now, when you're first starting out, you want to take every job you can get, right? Because you want to get that knowledge base, and then you also want to build your reputation, right? Because your reputation online, your online 5-star review rating is going to make or break your business.
Okay.
It just is, right? So if you start getting into a spate of like a lot of low quality jobs where you get lots of bad reviews, you're going to have to, sit back and do a little bit of soul searching and go, okay, well, what are we doing wrong? Is it the people not working hard, or is there no systems, blah, 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 blah. Right. And then you'll start learning these different things so you can build up that reputation. You get about 100 reviews, 50 to 100 reviews of like where you're at 4.9 to 5.0 review on your review system. Then you're pretty much on, if you get one bad review, it's not going to hurt that much. Yeah. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And you're going to get that one bad review.
Yeah.
The thing about getting that one bad review is, one, communicating online, responding to that review in a professional and empathetic manner, not necessarily if it's not your fault and it's just bullshit, you don't want to say, I apologize, because then but you want to say something like, we do our very best to make sure that all of our customers are serviced to the highest quality possible, and that we go out of our way to make sure that we do everything that the customers asked us to do within the time frame and the monetary value of the job. We're sorry that we're sorry that this happened, and they don't feel that they're the happiest, and we apologize for that. But we confidently feel that we did our very, very best. We're sorry we could not please this particular customer. And something like that, you know what I mean? And believe it or not, you could turn the biggest critic into the biggest ally by responding in that manner. So sometimes it's actually good to have some bad reviews if you responded properly.
Oh, okay.
So don't be afraid of the bad reviews. But if you're
Okay.
getting a lot of them, then you're going to have to sit back and find out what are you guys
What's
doing wrong?
Yes. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
So
So
how do you pretty much sell yourself pretty much starting out though? Where do you go? How, like, what do you do?
you got to hustle at this point. At this point, you guys got to be willing. If you're starting this business, you got to dedicate your life to this business.
Mhm.
Now you could easily go and get $10 to $30,000 in business within the next month if you follow just this one simple rule, right? Go out and promote yourself. Go out to Vistaprint, get yourself a bunch of business cards, make
Mhm.
up a bunch of flyers or brochures or rack cards. Just a piece of promo that's
Mhm.
decently well designed and worded, right?
Mhm.
You could go and check out, you can go to Yellow Pages and see how other moving companies are positioning themselves,
Okay.
right? And then get something that's designed really, really well, right? Because you're gonna believe it or not, take a little time, take a little bit of money, spend that and get a well-designed business card and brochure or something.
Mhm.
Okay. You really want to have that in there. And if you get a good company, like a good local company that, that's a small business themselves, they'll really work hard to make sure that they give you the best quality. Don't cheap out on this, because the
Okay.
cheaper you look, the cheaper people are going to think you are.
Okay. Gotcha.
Take that out, get a bunch of them made, get about 5,000 to 10,000 of these made, right?
Mhm.
Spend the money on it, because this is a very good investment. Then what you're going to need to do is you're going to want to go to every self-storage facility, every luxury apartment, every high-rise building, condo building, every house in your target demographic,
Mhm.
right? You got to figure out what that target demographic is. My personal opinion is you should concentrate on high middle class to high class, right? But I would go to luxury apartments, condos, the high-rise buildings, every self-storage facility, every
Mhm.
real estate agent in the area, and just go out and introduce yourself, give them a business card, give them your brochure,
Mhm.
say, I want to do the very best of business. If you could help me out and refer people to me, I'd certainly appreciate it. And here's my stuff. And I guarantee in that month, you will book yourself silly. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Just go out, give them your business card, your brochure, explain your business. Hey, right now. All we do is help people load and unload
Mhm.
trucks. We don't do full service moves just yet. We plan on doing that very soon, but right now that's what we're concentrating on.
Okay.
But if a full service move comes, feel free to let us know, and then we can facilitate that or make that happen, right? Because you might be
Mhm.
able to hire somebody who has a truck or something to do it. You know what I mean? Where you do
Yes.
the labor, they get the everything else. It's you got to be willing to be flexible here, right?
Okay.
There's ways to do that, but
Mhm.
don't turn down any job. And I guarantee that you'll probably do about $20,000 to $30,000. Can't guarantee an actual amount, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you do that, and you do it, and you do about 500 to 1,000 people in the month, you should make $20,000 to $30,000 this month. I'm talking like October,
Mhm.
right? Start
So-
from October 1st to October 31st, or 30th or whatever it is, and just hustle.
Okay. So question, right? So just starting out, right? Because I don't have like like manpower for labor. For
Okay.
loading and unloading. How do I go about that if I'm just offering just loading and unloading?
Right.
From
Here's the rub, especially
Mhm.
right now in the political environment that we're right now.
Mhm.
Everybody's looking for people to work. People
Okay.
don't want to work. They just don't. They'd rather sit down and get that government check.
Mhm.
That's the sad truth. I'm not trying to be political. I'm not trying to besmirch anybody.
Well, it's there. It's written. It's like It's
Yeah.
written loudly. Yeah.
Right. So you're going to have to pay these people probably a high figure to get some people in.
Okay.
Right. So count on that. I'm probably suspecting that you're going to probably have to pay between $15 to $20 an hour to get people to do that. So when you make your prices, you don't want your payroll should be the 30% or less of your overall bill. Okay. Right. Or per hour even. So whatever your hourly figure, your payroll should be 30% or less. If it's labor only, if you're doing labor only, 50 to 60% or less. Okay. Because you really don't have overhead except for labor. Okay. Does that make sense? Yes. So if you got 3 guys doing a labor only job and you're paying them $20 an hour, then you should be charging $100 an hour for your labor only. Okay. Does this make sense? Yes. I'm just taking a little note right here. Yeah. So if you keep that for labor only, you want to be 50 to 60% of the overall hourly charge. If you're doing full service, you want to be less than 30%. Okay. Ideally, I mean, that doesn't always happen, but ideally that's what you want to be. Right? Because then that gives you enough room for marketing and sales and all that good stuff and make a little bit of profit. So you need to get yourself a website, and you can get free websites made up online, right? You can go to Wix, you can go to WordPress. You could just use a Facebook business page, and that will be good enough. It's not the ideal scene, but it's good enough. Facebook business page is like if you work it out and you go to and get some YouTube videos on how to use the Facebook page effectively, and you could really turn your Facebook business page into an effective website. Okay. It'll do instant messaging. They can phone call you. It's all the good stuff. You could even set it up where they can, you could set it up where they could do a quote form. You can have like a quote form on your thing, like through Google Documents, and have a quote form right that's first pinned to the very top of your comments or whatever. For free quote, go to this link, and click it on. Okay. There's all sorts of things you can do. You don't have to pay for it, right? But you do want to make sure that you're branded correctly. So make sure that your website has the same kind of look and feel as your business card and brochure. Okay. Okay. That's called branding. Okay. So decide on your branding, decide on your colors. Don't be too bold. Use pastel colors, right? Like pastel blues, pastel greens, oranges, yellows. You don't want like vibrant, like in your face. You know what I mean? Avoid red. Very rarely, red is an aggressive color. Some people are able to pull it off, like Target. Target's able to pull it off, but they're also a big conglomerate. I would really stay away from red because it tends to be it denotes anger and aggressiveness. Oh, okay. And if that's what you want to portray, that's what you're trying to express, then go for it. Red's an appropriate color. But there are other colors like oranges and greens and blues that are more effective colors. So just choose a color, get an icon like Apple. Apple Computers has that apple. People see that apple, they know, hey, that's an Apple product. You know what I mean? You see the 4 windows, people know that's Windows. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So you want to get like an icon that's going to be something that when they see it, they'll associate it to you. Right. Oh, okay. So keep that in mind, but keep it simple. Don't try to get it like if you notice that if you can't have your symbol, your icon in black and white, and people not know what it is without just in black or white, it's not an effective symbol. Oh, okay. Got it. If it's got to have all these colors to make people know, it's not an effective symbol.
Yeah, because I know, like basically you cannot let it be too crowded and overwhelming either. So
Right.
yeah.
So choose your colors, choose your motif, choose an icon that expresses what you guys do. Keep it simple, right? If you can do it in black and white, it doesn't matter if it's in color. You can have one that's in color. That's totally fine. But if it can't be, if you can't put it in black and or white, you know, and people can't understand what it is, just that's not an effective thing. You know what I mean? It's not an effective icon.
So in terms of like the website, what is it supposed to, you know, like in terms of what you offer should be there on there pretty much?
Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, here's the good thing about Facebook. Facebook, it gives you like this little photo at the top, right? For your business. You can actually put a video on, right? If you go and look at a commercial, and you can actually do a little commercial for your video. Do like a minute video, or little less than a minute, say like 59 seconds or 57 seconds. Do the 57-second commercial. Stick that on your Facebook thing, and that could, when somebody comes to your site, that commercial go on, and you can tell them what to do. Hey, you know, all you have to do is hit this link over here, hit this link there, call us up, and we'll help you out. Blah blah blah. So you can do like a little thing. Hi, we're Joe Blow Moving, and what we do is we help people load and unload their moving trucks or trailers, right? We keep it low. You rent the truck, you get the vehicle. We'll load it, we'll unload it at a very affordable rate that you will be happy with, and that we can make some money. And together we can work as a team to solve your moving situations. No matter where you're going, however, we can help you with the entire thing. Just give us a call. Numbers right down in the first thing, or right, you know, maybe you have the number at the bottom of the screen or whatever.
Yes.
You know, and just make a little video. If not, put a nice picture, right? But yeah, you just use your Facebook, right?
Okay.
That's what I did, by the way. I had a video up. I had a commercial made. I went to Fiverr and had a commercial made for $100, which I gave them a script, and I made them do a little thing, and had my logo on it and my phone number, and it was easy peasy lemon squeezy, right?
Is it that Fiverr, FIVVER?
FIVRR. Fiverr.
Okay, RR. Okay.
.com. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can get something cheaply made that's effective, right? You want something that's cheaply made, but yet still nice looking, right? So there's a lot of things that you can do very, very affordably for things like that. You know, I would suggest, if you have it, spend the money, right?
Okay.
But if you go out and you just hustle, get your website made up, get your cards and brat cards, and then you hustle and you contact at least 500 to 1,000 people, I guarantee you'll make, well, I'm not going to say guarantee. I will promise you that you will make close to $20,000 to $30,000. I can't promise you an exact figure. Maybe you'll only make 5, but you should, if you work hard, should be able to pull in those numbers, right? But that means every day you've got to go and hit every house that has a for sale sign. You've got to go and hit, you know, a certain amount of self storage facilities, condos, high-end apartments, everything like that. And apartments and condos, what is really good, especially apartments, because apartments, every month they've got a set of people moving out and then moving in, right? Okay. And most of them a lot of them are gonna be needing labor help. You know, some will do it themselves, some will hire moving companies, but there'll be that amount. If you get a bunch of them, you'll get a bunch of people that will be needing services that you provide, right? And then obviously get yourself connected up with moving helper hire a helper, get yourself on those boards, and then they will feed you jobs as well. They're going to take a cut of the amount of the money that you make, but they will feed you jobs. And you don't have to do anything for it. You just have to exist and have people available.
Oh, okay. You said moving helpers and who?
Hire a helper.
Okay.
Those are the two big ones, but there's a bunch of other companies like that offer labor for different things, right?
Oh, okay.
And one of those things is moving. So, learn how to pack, learn how to, pack a house, learn how to pack boxes and stuff, because you can make a lot of money off with packing a house, right? Pretty much, it's pretty much if it's going to cost them a person to move $6,000 to move their house, right? And then they want packing, it's probably going to cost them $6,000 just for packing. It's pretty much the rule of thumb. It's not guaranteed necessarily, but it's kind of the rule of thumb. So, I mean, you can make a lot of money offering packing services. And then you can also offer clean out services and junk removal services and, things like that to help you get your foot in the door.
Okay.
Right? Even cleaning, you can offer cleaning. Like when they move out, hey, we'll come in and clean your house. We'll clean up, clean the doors, clean walls, get it really looking spiffy, just cleaning. You're not going to do any maintenance like painting or
just cleaning.
Okay. And, people will go for that, so there's other ways to bill up basically when you do your services, right? If you go and you talk to a customer, then you gotta like, hey, by the way, we also offer such and blah, 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 blah services at an additional cost, of course. Right. And, a lot of people go, oh, well, good. I got all this crap that I'd want to throw away. Can you guys get that thrown away for us too? Yep. We're going to charge you an extra $200-300 for that. Oh, no problem. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when you're doing the move, your guys could be throwing it in the back of a pickup or a trailer and taking it to the dump for them. So those are services that you can provide. But that's what you want to start off. Start off small. Start off with the labor. Get yourself a good reputation. Hustle. The first year is going to be nothing but hustle for you. And right now we're in the slow season, right? So the hustle's got to be really strong. And you're in Chicago where it gets really bitterly cold.
Yes, it does.
So I'm in Michigan. It gets cold here too, but we're in the interior and we don't have all the skyscrapers creating all those wind tunnels. But you're going to have to get out there and make an effort to hit your quotas for distributing them, even in the bitter cold, right?
No.
So, and then start building relationships. Once you start doing that, start building relationships up with the self-storage, the apartment managers, the real estate agents, and so on and so forth. And every time you do a job where somebody used a real estate agent, make sure you do a really, really good job. Get a testimonial, preferably a video testimonial. Send that video testimonial to that person's real estate agent. Say, hey, and with the subject line on the email says, I moved your client, Joe Blow. Here's what he had to say. They'll open up that email, guaranteed. Right. And then they'll say, hey, just want to let you know I'm so-and-so. We own such and such movers. On this day, we moved Joe Blow to, wherever, you know what I mean? We helped him load his truck, blah, blah, blah. This is what he had to say about our services. Thought you might enjoy it. If you have any other clients that would need our services, here's our information. And you'll build up a real estate referral machine by doing that.
Oh, okay.
That's a hidden secret. That's a real estate referral machine. So every time someone has a real estate agent, like if you move somebody from a condo or a house, just just before you leave, say, hey, how did we do? Oh, you guys did great. You guys were awesome. Great. Can I get you to say that on a video for us? Give us a like 30-second, 1 minute testimonial on that for us. Some of them will say no. Most of them will say, sure, not a problem.
Sure, yeah.
You just take out your phone, put it on horizontal, which is like this.
Yes.
You can do it like this now. Even people are okay on this now, even now. But typically you want to do it horizontal, frame them in, get a thing, and just have them do a quick 30-second video. You could prompt them with some questions like, hey, were we on time? Were we well dressed? Did we operate efficiently? Blah, blah, blah. And just have them in their own words. And then, then you could take that video, download it to Facebook on your website. You could do it on Instagram, TikTok, believe it or not. And then you could send that video to the real estate agent, their mortgage broker, their lender, all these people, and say, hey, you know what I mean? And then you could just send that stuff to them. And then you'll start building up a referral machine like no other. And I guarantee at year 2, if you've done all of these basic steps,
yes,
you'll be killing it, and you'll be making enough money to go into full service moving.
Gotcha.
But it takes the hustle. If you don't have the hustle, then just forget it.
Well, I guess everything comes with hard work. You have to put the labor into, to reap the fruit, pretty much.
Right. And that's and that is one aspect. That's 50% of success. The other 50% is you're going to have to start learning the skills that you don't have. Right? If you don't know how to do a budget for business, you got to learn. If you don't know how to, if you don't know how to do statistics, and you're going to have to learn how to do statistics. If you don't know how to do systems and procedures, you're going to have to do that. Right? There are 2 books that I recommend specifically that you learn. One is called the E-Myth Revised. Okay. This will teach you all about how to build up systems in your business. Right?
How do you spell that? The E-Myth?
E-Myth Revised.
MYTH?
Yeah, MYTH, myth. I don't have it just right here right now.
Okay.
The other one, the other book that I think is the 60-minute CFO. Right? Yeah, a 60-minute CFO. Okay. A third book that I recommend is called Traction. I don't have any of those books here that I can show you what they look like.
Okay.
Start learning those books. Study those books. Go, right? And then start in just really learning. And another thing you should do is part of your, the third thing is when I talked about building relationships, start going to networking meetings in your area. Start going to BNI groups. Find a BNI group that's going to be very good for you. Try to get into, chamber of commerce meetings with other business leaders. Any kind of thing that has business leaders meeting, networking. You want to get in there and you want to start rubbing elbows. Maybe that's hard for you. Maybe that's thing, but that's something that's a skill you're going to have to do, because you want people to start being able to refer to you.
Okay.
Right? You want people to start knowing your name and knowing what you do. Right? That's a big part of business. And you start getting out there and you start going to all these meetings and you start meeting all these people. People start knowing and liking you and then trusting you. And it's not going to happen right away. Well, maybe it will, but most likely it won't. But after you built up a reputation and you built up some goodwill, people will start referring people to you for your business. Okay. And that's a good thing. So someone like, who knows, maybe a mortgage lender gets who's in one of your groups, gets this guy and they're looking for a mover. If you've done a good job, they'll refer to you. Or maybe a mailman, mail people, they always know who's moving in and moving out. I would get to know your local moving person, you know, throw them a gift certificate for Applebee's every once in a while. And you never know. They'll feed you people. Yeah, person over here in this condo at, condo 495, and here they're looking at moving. They put in a request to move. Really? Could you hand them my business card? Sure, not a problem. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So quick question, right? So even though you're interstate, you could always move people intrastate also, or no? Just moving, like, because I'm interstate, over the road, right? That's what I have. Yeah.
What are you talking about? Just within your state or across state lines?
No, just within your state. Say you get somebody to move within your state. Can you do that?
Yeah, you could do that if you're like, I mean, technically anything. I don't know what Illinois specific law, anything over 40 miles here in Michigan is considered long distance.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And that's when you technically have to have your licensed and insurance. If you're doing locally, most you really don't have to have the license and insurance.
Okay.
But here's a good thing too. If you're doing labor only jobs, you don't have to be licensed or insured. You can just do it. You don't have to have. I would recommend you have it, but you don't have to have it. Okay. So by working at, at this by working at this for a year, you can start building up some money so that when it does come time to go into full service, you can go, okay, here's $3,000. Let me get my insurance. Let me buy a truck. Let me get an attorney to get me my tariff and stuff like that.
Yes. Okay. And in terms of, and it's good to identify yourself in terms of your workers wearing your brand, right?
If you can afford it, yes, I would recommend it. At the very least, what I would do is I would buy a bunch of T-shirts, all of the same color. Buy a bunch of hoodies, all at the same color, and have them wear that. Even if it isn't branded, if it's all the same color and that color matches your site, then that will, that at least makes it look like they're uniformed, right?
Okay.
Ideally, you would have your logo and your stuff on, your phone number and website and stuff. But at the minimum, make them look like they're uniformed. Make them, have them wear the same color hoodie, same color T-shirts, that kind of thing. Okay.
And I mean, like, for keeping books, like, right, how do you pretty much go about like keeping your books and balancing and making sure your profit, your loss, and stuff like that?
QuickBooks online is a great thing. Hiring, if you don't know how to do it and you're intimidated by it, you might want to hire somebody to come like once a month to check your thing. But it's just a basic, how much money's coming in, how much money's going out, and where's the money going to when it's going out, and where's it coming from? I mean, the more granular and more you can narrow down how much that is, the better off you'll be. That's why I recommend the book, The 60-Second CFO, because that goes all about how to keep your track. But at the very basic, just go online, get the business version, a small business version of QuickBooks. So what other questions do you have for me?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to, because really, how do I sell? Yeah, that was one of my things. How do I sell myself? Correct documentation. Yeah, because that's really basically, it was just the up and running, pretty much what you were like telling me about, and stuff like that, because I just need to get like the basic and direction as to where to go and what to do, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're in a great spot right now. We have, I think the moving business over the next couple of years is just going to increase. And there's a lot of things that might change that, but the moving industry is pretty much recession free. I mean, we already know that it's COVID free, a pandemic thing. Everybody's got to move, right?
Okay.
there's the lows and there are the highs, right? So the more that you can squirrel away money wise during the highs will make the lows that much more bearable.
Yeah, because I heard you mention that in your video the other day, where you should just, in the high season, you save your money, and then, when it gets low, then, you're pretty much balanced.
Yeah, exactly. So right now we're in the slow season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And politically, we're coming into a season where, where the housing prices are going to crash. And when that happens, you're going to see a lot of people wanting to move out. So you should hopefully, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that definitely, you should be keeping your eye on the news as far as the real estate market goes, because the real estate market really kind of, has a lot to do with the moving season. But if you get out there and you hustle like now, between now and next May, and you do what I tell you to do, and you give yourself a daily quota or a weekly quota of how many of your brochures and pamphlets and everything that you've given out every month or every week. As long as I would go for like 500 every month. That would be my goal if I were in your area. You're in a very dense area, Chicago.
Yes, I am. Yes.
So 500 should be pretty easy, right? But I would give myself 500. I would relegate myself to the higher income areas, right? I wouldn't go to Gary, Indiana and spend they just, I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's not to besmirch anybody, but I'm not going to go into the low income areas to promote my stuff. Most of them, they're going to be cheapskates and they're not going to want to pay you what you're worth. So don't waste your time on that.
Okay. So basically you stick to your price, right?
Stick to your price. If you need to negotiate a little bit, negotiate a little bit, but you do not want to negotiate, have a cutoff. Like, I'm willing to knock off 10% or whatever it is and never go below that, because people will try to take advantage of that, especially people that come from areas that have, that negotiate a lot on prices.
Yes.
Right. These tend to be like people from India, Middle East, Africa. These guys, they already bargaining, and that's fine. But know your worth, know your value, and never go below that value. You can negotiate a little bit, but hold that hard line. That you got to have a line that you just, nope, I'm not going below this. Okay. Right. This is where I stop. And, because you got to you're in this to make money. You're not in this to do charity, unless you're doing a charity work. You know what I mean? This isn't charity. You're trying to make a business. Ideally, in 5 years, I'm assuming that you and your husband would like to either sell this or turn this over to somebody so you can live the good life.
Exactly. Okay. I have two sons, so that's the whole motive of pretty much setting the pace and pass the baton forward.
There you go. So that's what you're in it for, and keep that goal in mind. And if you're always discounting your stuff, then you're always cheapening what your value is, right? Okay. And you don't want to cheapen what you're worth, right? Know your worth.
Yeah. So like, say, moving forward, right? In terms of truck, do you finance a truck later on, or do you buy a truck? Like,
Well, that's a good question, actually. I personally would want to purchase my truck, right, and carry all the load of that. That's me personally, because I don't want to be beholden to somebody for a monthly thing. Because if I have some bad months and I can't make payments, then that starts a snowball effect that I don't like. Okay. Right? So I personally don't feel comfortable financing something unless I know that I can get that paid off like very quickly, like 2 or 3 years or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And that's me personally. Other people love to finance. Some people lease, because when they lease, then they don't have to worry about maintenance on the vehicles.
Yes.
Right. But then there's the cons of it. Like you've only got so many miles that you're allowed to put on the vehicles and blah, blah, blah. This is and that's and other things. It really comes down to what you're comfortable with and what you can afford. Right. I never advocate anybody getting more than they can afford, because, it seems, and that's how we ended up in the housing crisis back in 2008. People started buying houses that they legitimately should not have been in because they could not afford it. And then when the crap hit the fan, they had to lose their house, right? Because if you have to do creative financing to afford something, you shouldn't be in it. You should just be straightforward, right? That said, it takes money to make money. So, I know Dave Ramsey said, buy everything outright, but sometimes you have to buy it on credit, when you're running a business, right?
Yeah, because capital sometimes it's limited. So you're like, okay, your best option is probably you don't have cash, but you have credit. So,
The best advice I could tell you on that is start building up your personal credit and your business credit, right? The better your personal credit and the more that you build up your business credit, the better. And take a year, while you're learning the business to build up your credit rating, for your business and for your personally. And
so in terms of building your business credit, right? What's your best advice on like building that business credit?
What's that? Ask it again.
No, I said in terms of building your business credit, how do you go about building your business credit?
The same way basically the same methods you would for your personal credit. I would go and get like a gas card, credit card under your business name, use that, pay it off every month. You know what I mean? Maybe some other kind of small credit, get a small secured credit card under your business name, right? Use that for 3 to 6 months, use that for small bills, pay it off every month, right? And build up your credit that way under your business credit. Obviously when you're building your business credit, they're going to concentrate on your personal credit. So your personal credit has to be fairly good too, right?
Yes,
so if you got bad personal credit, then fix your personal credit and start building that up. And
because my personal credits, it's it's in the 700, so it's
okay.
it's okay. Yeah. So I just need, because I didn't get a business credit card as yet. I haven't get one as yet. So I'm in the process of really looking for one, where the rate is not too high or something like that.
Right. Exactly. So make sure you do what you need to do to be legal business, right? And then get an EIN number, which is basically a social security number for your business.
Yes, because I do. I have all of that. Okay. Yeah, I do have. Yeah, I have everything.
And then go and get a secured credit card. Go and get like a $500 to $1,000 secured credit card for your business, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then, after 3 to 6 months, you can turn that into an unsecured credit card, right? And just, go get a gas card. That's if you got a decent personal credit, you should be able to get a gas card from, one of the gas companies in your area, and get that under your business name and build up your credit that way. And then after a year, and you build up you build up a good reputation, you put in some money in the bank. I would go and get like an unsecured line of credit for your business, like $10,000 line of credit, and then never use it unless you really have to. Like you're in never use it unless you're like in a really bad spot and you have to make payroll or something, that kind of thing.
Okay. Okay.
But I wouldn't use it at all, except for maybe some very small minor things that you could pay off very quickly. But having that line of credit, then, when you need it, you got it.
Okay. Well, you don't get a line of credit because you want to have it to really pump into the business. You don't do that, right?
You can't. Some people do, and some people do that, and they do that effectively. But again, you don't want to get something that's going to overwhelm you and that you can't afford, right?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
If you want to use the line of credit to build up your business, let's say that you come across a good deal, you can find somebody that could build a really nice website for you for a couple $1,000, and you don't have a couple thousand, use the line of credit. Totally okay. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. You come across a really good deal for a truck. Hey, you got that line of credit. Use the line of credit for a truck. Because that truck is going to be, even though it's a depreciating asset, that asset is going to make you money.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So in terms of for a truck, right? New versus used. Which, because I'm like, we're thinking about, after a while getting a truck, and I'm like, should I get a used truck? Should I get a new truck? Like, where?
Well, a new truck, a moving truck, new one. You're talking to $100,000 to $150,000. So that might answer your question right there.
I know that's a lot of money.
I would recommend I used to recommend, and I made a video about it, that, if you got a moving truck for about $20,000, $20,000 to $50,000, you're getting a really good used moving vehicle. However, since COVID, the prices have gone up. So you're probably looking at $30,000 to $40,000 for a good used truck now.
For a good used truck. Okay.
Yeah. And that's what you want. You want a good truck that should last you like 5 years.
Okay.
Right. If you feel, and you buy a truck and you feel that the truck can last you like 5 years, a good solid, then that's what I would use before the truck breaks down. Obviously there's going to be maintenance costs. You're going to have flat tires. You're going to have engine troubles. You're going to have this and that's another. You're going to probably have some moron that puts gas into a diesel engine and have to fix it. That's happened to me.
So do you have recommended places where I could, seek out like a used truck? Or
I used to recommend go and get an old used U-Haul trucks, but they don't sell used. U-Haul doesn't sell their trucks anymore, and they're actually they're phasing out selling any trucks because they don't want the competition. They don't want a moving company buying an old used U-Haul truck and turning it into a moving truck, and now they're competition, which I think is silly. Spread the love a little bit, but
I know, right?
That's their business model, and I'm not going to knock them. But old Penske trucks, Penske usually recycles their trucks after three years, and they sell them after 3 years, and so you can get a good used Penske truck for $20,000 to $30,000. Obviously it's going to have its issues, but you can get a good used Penske truck. You can go online and just do it. There's lots of places where you can buy good used vehicles at affordable prices.
Okay. In terms of size, what size do you recommend for a
site?
Yeah.
Go to usedmovingvans.com.
Okay. And you're looking in terms of size, what do you recommend for the
bigger the better.
The bigger the better?
The biggest truck that you can afford. I personally recommend a 26-foot truck. If you're going to buy a truck, buy a 26-foot truck, right? Okay. If you buy an old used moving truck, you might be able to get them at 28 and 30 feet, 28 feet and 30 feet. And if you can't afford them and they're decent buys, get them. But you're not really going to find most of the trucks you're going to find out there are going to be 26 footers.
Okay.
So definitely get a thing and try to do your best to find one that's automatic, because most people can't drive stick shifts these days.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I can drive a stick shift. Most people my age can drive a stick shift, but the kids these days, they can't drive sticks. They cannot drive manual transmissions.
Mm-hmm.
So stick to like an automatic, get a good used vehicle. Like I said, a good rule of thumb, and you don't have to follow, but a good rule of thumb is if you believe it can last 5 to 10 years, then that's a truck you should. And if you can afford it, that's the truck you should get.
Okay. Thanks for that.
But get what you can afford at the best price that you can afford. Even if the truck's not, that the truck is going to only last you a couple of years, get the truck, because it's going to make you a lot of money in 2 years.
Yeah,
right?
so you could use to buy a better truck.
Right.
Pretty much.
But I prefer going used, and I try to get the best truck at a thing. And if you got good credit, a truck at 20 to 30, 30 to 50,000, that's fairly, if you're bringing in the money, you should be able to, you could legitimately, if you work hard, pay a truck off in like a month or two, right? There's no reason why a good licensed and insured moving company, you can't be making $30,000 to $40,000 a month if they're out hustling and doing a good job. So you literally could take all the money that you make in a month, pay that truck off. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Obviously, you wouldn't do that, but you could, right?
Yeah, if you wanted to. Okay.
So you want to make sure that you can afford the truck, and that truck is going to bring you the return on investment that you need it to do.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
But if you're going to buy a truck just because it's cheap, then the return on investment might be there, because you might be spending literally thousands of dollars to fix the truck, and then that's not worth it.
Well, and that makes sense too. It really does make sense. Like spend the money if you want to make the money.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much how it goes. Yeah.
If you're going to buy a truck for, let's say, $5,000, but you end up having to put $20,000, it's not a good investment.
Yeah.
You might as well have bought a $20,000 truck that you only have to put $5,000.
True. Okay. Yeah. Well,
but again, it comes down to what you can afford, right? And if you've got good credit and you've got good business credit, then that's why you have the credit. You build the credit up for things like that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I basically ask you the questions that I really wanted to ask you, pretty much. Yeah. Okay. Oh, can you re-say about the gas card? Where do I get the gas card?
Yeah, just go get a credit card, gas credit card. You can get that like at Shell or Speedway or whatever. You can get one of those credit cards, and just go get a credit card under your business name.
All right. Okay. I'll do that. All right. So pretty much you pretty much answered most of the questions that I really wanted to know, and I'll invest in those books, and then I'll go from there. And if I have to need be, I'll make another consultation with you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. You have a great day.
You too. Bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye.